Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Board of Commissioners, City of Bowling Green, Kentucky, regular meeting, City Hall, March 21st, 2023 at 4:30 p.m. We're going to begin with the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance. Dana Beasley Brown has a guest to introduce.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. We have Mr. Parag Dave, the Hindu priest representing Bowling Green of the Hindu Temple. And the temple was inaugurated almost a year ago in May 2022 and serves as a religious and cultural center for the Hindu community of Kentucky and surrounding counties. Their members, I know they volunteer whenever they can to help our community. And when the tornado struck our community, they housed over 50 families. So thank you all so much for how you invite everyone to be a part of your cultural celebrations. I know you all just finished celebrating Holi, the Festival of Colors. And they've also invited, if you'd ever like to try Indian food, they have a free meal every Saturday from 6 to 9. So you're welcome to come out to their temple, which is out by Scottsville Road. So if you will please come and give us our opening prayer, we'd really be blessed by that. Thank you so much for being here.
Good evening, everyone. Can you just pull that down? Perfect.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for inviting us here. Besides being a Hindu priest, I also work in the community college in Chicago for over 20 plus years, and many of you might have seen me in Netflix reality show last year. We will pray to God for the global peace. Om asatoma sadagamaya tamsoma jyotirgamaya mrutyorma mrutom gamaya Om shanti shanti shanti. The meaning of this verse is, O Supreme God, please lead us from unreal to real, from dark to light, from death to immortality. Please bless entire world with eternal peace. Thank you very much.
Everyone will turn with me and say the pledge together. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Commissioner Beasley Brown. Now we will have a roll call. Mrs. Jackson.
Commissioner Perigin.
Here.
Commissioner Bailey.
Here.
Commissioner Beasley Brown.
Here.
Commissioner Hill.
Here.
Mayor Alcott.
Here. At this time, have a special announcements. We have a special guest I'll introduce. The Bowling Green Police Department is being recognized for its 2022 Law Enforcement Safety and Liability Review, and law enforcement consultant is arriving, Mr. John Clark, with the Kentucky League of Cities here to present this award.
Thank you so much for having me. Every 3 years, the Kentucky League of Cities conducts what's called a safety and liability review of the police agencies across Kentucky that we insure. That review sort of consists of us coming and doing a site visit. We go through all of their policies, their procedures. We look very closely at the training that they take part in, at their evidence procedures. We really do a deep dive into two areas of law enforcement, the most important two to us. Those are the very things that get police officers hurt, and the things that get police officers, along with their families, their city, and you all, into lawsuits. Those are the things that we want to avoid. As we do that review, we do a deep dive, and it is not an easy task that happens. It is an arduous task that they prepare months in advance for. Only about 15% of the cities that we cover in Kentucky achieve a 100% score on that safety and liability review. As a citizen of Bowling Green, it makes me really proud that the Bowling Green Police Department has achieved that for the last 15 years running. And that is not an easy task because we keep moving the goalpost. Every time we find another standard that we can meet, every time that we can make things a little bit tougher, a little bit safer, and a little bit, how do I say this, where we can make things better and ratchet things up, we continue to challenge police agencies to get better and better and better, and every time they meet the challenge with no problem. In fact, I serve the western half of the state of Kentucky. I regularly use the Bowling Green Police Department as an example. The chief can tell you a little bit, but Penny Bowles regularly gets phone calls from other police departments because I've been there. They've wanted to get a new piece of equipment or institute some type of program, and I instantly know, hey, you should call the Bowling Green Police Department because they're really good at this. And that's a testament, one, to the Bowling Green Police Department, how great a job they do. It's also a credit to you all because that doesn't come without your support. So on behalf of the League of Cities, I want to thank the Bowling Green Police Department, and I want to thank you all for supporting the police department.
Thank you so much, John. Let's make this official. Would you want to come up here with the commissioners and maybe bring Chief Delaney? A couple of our police officers are in the building. Let's bring them up here too.
If you look at this way, oh, actually, I think they can get through. Yeah, come on up here.
Ashley, can you take my camera too? Sorry. I just messed it up. Thank you. Wow.
Come on.
Where, Chief Dwayne, you get in there. Clark. All right.
If you tell me when you can you see it?
So congratulations, Chief Delaney. Thank you. Fantastic, the top 15% Kentucky. John, thank you. Thank you. That's how we should start off every meeting, right there. All right, at this time, I'm going to ask our city manager if you have any comments you'd like to make at this time.
First, I just want to say how blessed are we to have a department like that. And same goes for our fire department as well. So just my usual, anyone in the office wanting to make public comments at the end of the regular session need to sign up on the clipboard in the back of the room. And that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Raina, in the back, we just got a text from Joe Denning that there's no TV sound. Can you check on that? He's still watching. I'm sure
Thanks,
Bruce
Joe.
is watching too. All right, well, we're going to move on. Our first item is our approval of minutes, regular meeting, March 7, 2023.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Perigin. Any discussion at this time? None. Roll call, please.
Perigin.
Yes.
Bailey. Beasley Brown.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Alcott.
Yes. Municipal Order Number 2023-54.
Municipal order approving the career path advancement of Matthew White to the position of Operations Technician 3 in the Public Works Department.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Beasley Brown, second by Commissioner Carlos Bailey. Mr. Mizel.
We have a promotion to announce in our Public Works Operations Division. I'd like to ask David Delp, our Operations Division Manager, to come up and make that recommendation. Dave?
Thank you. I'd like to recommend Matt White for promotion to OMT 3 in the Operations Division of Public Works. Matt, if you'd stand. The Operations Division has a career path advancement program that is tied to equipment training, safety, skills, and tasks. Over the course of the individual's employment at Operations, employees are given opportunities to train on equipment needed to promote to the next level. Matt started with Operations as a laborer too in 2018. He has quickly advanced on the drainage crew by maintaining injection wells, drainage structures, and utilizing specialized equipment. Matt has voluntarily completed the required tasks to be added to Operations after hours on-call rotation too. On-call personnel are required to come in after hours, weekends, holidays, for emergencies including traffic signal maintenance, repairing traffic signs, and also traffic hazards and intersections like trees, things like that happen. So I'd like to personally thank Matt for his hard work in the short time he's been here and how he's advanced and everything and helped this department out. Thank you.
Thank you, David. All right, commissioners, do you have any questions at this time? All right, well, let's have a roll call, please.
Perigin.
Yes.
Bailey. Yes. Beasley Brown.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Alcott.
Yes, congratulations, Matt. David. Appreciate your service, Mr. White. Municipal Order Number 2023-55.
Municipal order authorizing and accepting bid number 2023-45 for police uniforms from CMS Uniforms and Equipment, Inc. of Nashville, Tennessee, Galls LLC of Lexington, Kentucky, and Nats Outdoor Sports of Bowling Green, Kentucky, based on unit prices.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Perigin, second by Commissioner Beasley Brown. Mr. Mizel.
So as you all will remember, we renewed this not too long ago, but we went out for bid. This is a new term. We need some equipment and uniforms in police department, so we went out February 22nd. This was an evaluated bid, and we got 3 vendors that submitted bids: Galls, CMS Uniforms, and Nats. We are recommending the following: that CMS Uniforms and Equipment get the bid for the shirts and trousers, outerwear, hats, uniform accessories, shorts, and embroidery. Recommending that Galls get the bid for the boots, athletic wear, and gas mask. And then finally, we're recommending that Nats Outdoor Sports gets the bid for the running shoes, which was what they classify as a Class D shoe. All of the summary is in your packets, and Chief Delaney is here, can answer any questions you might have, but we are dividing and conquering, awarding this to the bidders that came in, and dividing it up and giving it to the lowest cost bidders.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mizel. Commissioners, you have questions? All right. No questions, roll call, please.
Perigin.
Yes.
Bailey. Yes. Beasley Brown.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Alcott.
Yes. Municipal Order Number 2023-56.
Municipal order authorizing and accepting bid number 2023-42 for housing administrative services from ICF Incorporated LLC of Reston, Virginia, based on hourly rates in an amount not to exceed $265,000 over a 4-year period.
So moved. Second.
By Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Beasley Brown. Mr. Mizel.
With the anticipation of additional funding coming in for affordable housing through the CDBG program, CD, I think it is, or DR, sorry, disaster recovery, we think we're going to need this service to guide and consult us. Talking to Brent, he can step up here in a minute, but talking to him, we're going to need some expertise on how to maneuver through this process when we get funding to go out and procure more affordable housing. And so we went out and submitted for proposals, and we only got one from ICF. And this would be for a 4-year period. It'd almost be like a retainer, sort of, but we anticipate needing them roughly 2,000 hours. This is more or less a full-time job, but so they gave us a price of roughly $66,000 a year, and these would be on a as-needed basis. And Brent and Nick are here, can answer any of your question on this, but this is to get us ready for what's coming, we think, with funding for affordable housing. So we have a plan, and they can help us put that plan together. Brent, Nick, you want to step up and add some more details to that?
But as you're stepping up, does this cover or will this also include the money that we set aside through ARPA for affordable housing?
They would partner with us on the ARPA funds and as well as the CDBG-DR. And really what it is when it comes down to it, it's Nick and I doing this work. And we've got a lot of other projects that we're trying to get done, and namely Riverfront, rebidding transit, a lot of other activities going on. So we need additional capacity. When the amount of money that we're talking about coming into the community for this. So there's the capacity side of it, but also it's another level of expertise as we try to scale this. And that's where ICF steps in. And they're a very large consulting firm out of Virginia. And so they do this type of work. They do a lot of planning and HUD work. They actually are a consultant to HUD as a firm, as an organization. So this is not just a small outfit. This is a large firm, and we wanted it to be available when needed. So it cost us nothing to award this because we don't pay anything until we actually use the service. And then we will negotiate and work out a scope of work per step so we know what we're paying for and we know what we're getting, and we've kind of ironed out the prices on the front end. And this is a model we learned from a community out in Colorado that had a short-term need for additional capacity, and they had used ICF to step in a similar role. And so that's where this idea came from.
And for the disaster relief funds that Kentucky set aside from the storm, these are funds that, because Bowling Green was one of the preponderance areas to be hit by the tornado, that we can receive these funds. Did they make a determination whether we could use this for new housing as well as existing housing?
Yes, it can be for both. What we're waiting on is what are the maximum funding amounts per category. That's the number that we really had the biggest issue with in our comments back to the state. And that's what we haven't seen, that adoption of that final plan. But we are one of the 4 counties listed in the disaster, the most impacted counties. It'd be us, Graves, Hopkins, and Breathitt, because Breathitt had actually suffered a flood in the summer of 2021 and then re-flooded again in the summer of 2022. So they'll be eligible for the 21 and the 22 DR funds. So that will come at a later time for them. But with that most impacted disaster means 80% of those funds have to be spent in those 4 counties. We feel like Warren County is poised to be the best to apply that. And one of the things that we've seen from the disaster is really the need for additional affordable housing units. Just the impact that it did in a very tight housing market and in a growth market with the announcement of the Envision AESC battery plant.
Commissioners?
I'm really excited that we're going to have this additional expertise on hand. I mean, we can all see from several public comments from all across our community that homelessness and housing is continuing to affect just all parts of our economy and our citizens. And so I'm grateful that we're going to be able to make sure we're not just throwing money at a problem, but really do it in a way that we know is best practices and going to help to real solutions for our community. Do you know if they will also be able to help us, since they work with HUD, know how we make sure that in terms of the solutions we're providing, the types of structure we have in place, that they can advise us how to do that in order to be set up to receive and be qualifying for additional HUD grants and federal funds that could come in? Could this lead to more money with their expertise involved?
There is that potential. That wasn't our focus going into it, is really help us allocate these funds the most appropriately. But I could see that potential being an offshoot of this continued conversation and partnership over several years, just based on their thorough understanding of the HUD funding systems.
Yeah, so since I know we're going to continue to need more funds to address this issue, I would love to see if we can use this to create a structure and model to make sure we are at a good place to continue to receive funding in the future. So that's great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Britton, I appreciate you too. I appreciate also Nick back there as well, because the expenses and the expertise needed for affordable housing is something that we need. And it's a problem, but the solution is the main thing that we're looking at. And like Commissioner Beasley Brown has said, we're trying to address those solutions and trying to find out how we can get more money. And hopefully we can get more access to more money that can create more affordable housing for it. And it's not just for the homeless population, but it's also for our low-income workers
That's right.
that also, need housing as well. So they hopefully don't become homeless themselves. So I appreciate and hats off to both of you and Nick for doing this.
Any other comments, questions, or anything? All right, thank you all.
Thank you, Brent. All right, no further discussion at this time. Roll call, please.
Perigin.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Beasley Brown. Hill.
Yes.
Alcott.
Yes. Municipal order number 2023-57.
Municipal order authorizing a contract through non-competitive negotiations with Arnold Consulting Engineering Services, Inc. of Bowling Green, Kentucky for professional services from Bluegrass Farms Boulevard Extension in the amount of $116,000.
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Commissioner Beasley Brown, second by Commissioner Carlos Bailey. Mr. Mizel.
Back in December, I was approached by the chamber and the owner of this property, Natcher Parkway Holdings, their attorney. We started talking about possibilities of the development of the 347 acres between Plano Road and I-65. And the idea came about of us partnering on extending the Bluegrass Farms extension. I came to you all, all of you all individually, with the idea of extending that road from where it stops at Camping World, extending it through this property. They were offering to go about half or a little bit less than half on the cost. And it's about a mile stretch of road that would connect Plano Road back into Bluegrass Farms there by Camping World. There's already a potential business looking at the property behind Camping World, so this road is going to be necessary to put more activity back in there. Some of the latest ideas that have come up is there could be some housing back in there as well, some mixed use. And so before you tonight is an item just for design. Natcher Parkway Holdings has come to us. They have used this ACES, Arnold Consulting Engineering Services, for design work and engineering services on their side. They are offering to pay for 2/3 of the design, which is roughly, the full cost was $347,000. And asking for us to partner with them and pay for 1/3, which is roughly $116,000, to go toward the design of the road and this development. So this is memo is in your packet, is from Kyle. Kyle's been working with them, reviewing their plans. Hillary's been working with the attorney for Natcher Parkway Holdings, as well as Ron at the chamber, and we've met several times. We feel like this is a good project. There could be some really good potential development on this property that's already annexed into the city. We could get a good return with, whether it be property taxes or withholdings or whatever, on that parcel of land that they're wanting to develop. So before you tonight is this is just the first step to design the road to where they can start marketing and selling parcels and getting people interested in this land. So I'll try to answer any questions you might have. Hillary's here as well. And this is just for the design. Once we get the design nailed down, then we'll have to negotiate further on what we want to see back in there and what's going to be developed.
Thank you, Mr. Mizel. Commissioners?
Only just one question. You said we have a business that is already looking at the land?
There's already one buyer that's going to be locating right behind Camping World.
Got you.
And they'll be helping with the cost of the road in front of their property as well.
How soon will they possibly be breaking ground?
It's hard to say. They're still working out some details of their deal. But it's commercial that backs up to 65. But that's, 20 or 30 acres of property that they're looking at purchasing. They're working out the contract.
Any further questions? None. Roll call, please.
Perigin.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Beasley Brown.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Alcott.
Yes. Municipal order number 2023-58.
Municipal order approving an amended memorandum of understanding for community tree replacement program funding between the City of Bowling Green and Operation Pride, Inc.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Beasley Brown, second by Commissioner Hill. Mr. Mizel.
As you all know, our community is taking a beating when it comes to loss of trees, and the beautiful canopy that we used to have over our neighborhoods was lost in the tornado back in 21, and in our recent storm a couple weeks ago with 70-mile-an-hour winds, of which I was a victim myself. Just met with my adjuster earlier this afternoon. A lot of people have lost trees, and fortunately, Operation Pride has been a wonderful partner. They handled the first round of $150,000 that we were able to get from the SAFE grant, and we have been awarded another $150,000, and we would like to get that going as well with Operation Pride to divvy that out in the form of $400 vouchers for trees for tree replacement in our community. So before you tonight is a municipal order that would authorize that second round of $150,000. We are just amending the existing memorandum of understanding that we had with Operation Pride to get this program going with them. Brent Childers has worked on this. Hillary worked on the agreement, and we'll try to answer any questions you might have.
Great news, Mr. Mizel. Thank you very much. It's been wildly successful, especially after Operation Pride. Melanie Lawrence said it was the last time they offered trees, it was gone within hours. And people were grateful for those trees. And I know they said the winds of the last storm did more damage statewide, and I know countywide, than we saw concentration-wise during the storm. So it's been a devastating couple of years for us.
We were, I've been told we were, Category 1 is 73 miles an hour, and we were at 70, so we were right there at a Cat 1 storm with the straight line 70-mile-an-hour winds. So it did a lot of damage, so we got a lot of work to do.
Just one quick question, because I heard it from last year, and it's a great thing that we actually have trees that we're actually replacing. But are the impacted trees that we're having and the replacing trees, are they the same trees that were replaced? Because I know I received at least 1 or 2 emails in the past where they're saying we're replacing trees that were not the original tree that was impacted. So this is kind of for the public.
I was told we were replacing with good hardwood quality trees. Brent, you want to answer that one?
Say that there was no rules that said if they lost a pine tree that they must replace it with a pine tree. So there was no species for species replacement requirement. The requirements that I gave to them were no Bradford pears and no landscape trees. We lost urban canopy trees. We lost mature trees. We need to plant back mature trees. With the understanding, it's going to take 40 to 50 years for them to grow back up to where they were in Magnolia, Cutwood, Nutwood, Cedar Ridge, some of these places that had the mature canopy. But no, there was no variety or species to species replacement. It was just no Bradford pears because they won't last, and no landscape trees. I wanted yard trees, mature trees, canopy trees. That's what I was looking for back in the community.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Brent. No further questions. Roll call, please.
Perigin.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Beasley Brown.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Alcott.
Yes. Municipal order number 2023-59.
Municipal order authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into grant agreements for flexible neighborhood grants with various organizations.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Perigin, second by Commissioner Beasley Brown. Mr. Mizel.
So for 24 years, we've had what we used to call SNAP grants, Select Neighborhood something Action Program. Thank you, Karen. We now call them Flexible Neighborhood Grant Program because we want to be more flexible with them and allow neighborhoods to use them for various things. So tonight, we had some carryover money from 22 and the 23 budgets. We would like to award 3 projects tonight, and I'm going to ask Karen Foley to come up and tell you a little bit about these 3 for Eaglestone, Shake Rag, and Windsor Meadows. Karen?
Good evening.
Evening.
Yes, so we have no deadline for our grant applications now, which is why you're seeing us bring them back in batches, like smaller batches at a time. And hopefully that helps our neighborhood groups when different things happen over the course of a year or fiscal year to make adjustments when things happen, and they can better respond to those sorts of things. So the 3 that we have tonight, and you may remember at the beginning of the fiscal year, we said for this grant cycle, we want to reserve these funds for neighborhoods that are either in our tornado impacted areas or for projects that are in our Bowling Green reinvestment area. And a lot of folks may refer to that to our old 101, 102, 103 census tracts, and we have a map that shows where those neighborhoods are located. And so the 3 projects that we have today before you, one is for Windsor Meadows. They are a neighborhood that is located right along our Fairview Cemetery Road corridor. They did sustain damage during the 2021 tornado. And they are they have repaired some fencing. This will allow them to add some additional fencing there along the greenway. So that's what they're proposing to do with their funds. Eaglestone Villas, they are located off of Cave Mill, and they were in the path of the EF0 New Year's Day tornado in 2022. They had some damage over there related to some flooding, some erosion. The trees and landscape that they lost was smaller scale because that development has not been there that long. But they will be using their funds to do some of the mitigation for some of the damages that they sustained in January. So that's what they will be using theirs for. And then lastly, the Shake Rag Festival is located in our Bowling Green reinvestment area. And you guys have heard, I'm sure, Brent talk about some of our neighborhood improvement program, some of the things that are going on in the Shake Rag neighborhood. And we have with us tonight Ms. Page, who has helped to organize most recently the Shake Rag Festival for the last, how many years? 3? 4. Last 4 years, 2 of those during COVID. We are really excited, and I have a lot of different people who lay eyes on these grant requests, and this one by far, everyone was like, yes, we definitely need to do that. Shake Rag is an important historic neighborhood to us. It is right here near downtown, and I think it's important for us to support it, and to a person, everyone very much endorses that. I should mention that last year, Emily Angel, who's our community engagement coordinator, she helped work on that project with Ms. Page, and so we are very familiar with how that event has looked in the past. And we would like to grow that event alongside this organizer. One other point that I want to make is that back at the beginning of these 24 years, very early on, the ladies of the New Era Planning Association helped to host our very first Shake Rag Heritage Festival back in the day. And of course, events sometimes wane and things change, but we have a new generation now that is carrying that torch forward, and we think this will be a really good event this year, and we're excited to see what it looks like in August, right? Yeah.
For August 8th. I appreciate number one, for the homes and everybody that was impacted, it's something to have that we make sure that we're kind of right, some of those things that happen. But as far as also with the Shake Rag Festival, like you said, there was the Shake Rag Heritage Festival, what they used to have. My family comes from the Jonesville area, from 2nd Street, and you have family members that are here that actually came from, not Shake Rag, I apologize. You have family members here that's from the Jonesville area. And one thing that interesting that I found out, they used to have Mrs. State Street, years ago when they had the Cuisinart downtown and some of the things that they used to have events there. And to go and having another event each and every year, and after the 4th year and the 5th year, is something that I believe that helps out our community, and it grows, especially the downtown, because it's investing back into those historic areas, but it's something also can bring more revenue. It's a great rate of return, and hopefully it's something that can grow over the years.
I'm going to mention, Carlos, that the George Washington Carver Museum is located right behind the Shake Rag Barber Shop, has a lot of that history, and it's culmination of amazing history that's happened right here in Bowling Green, Kentucky, that's being collected there, and a great venue for our schools or for our community to visit and to learn more about our own heritage. So.
I do want to mention one more thing, and that is because we don't have a deadline for these grant applications, we still have funding that is available. If there is a neighbor out there that is in one of our tornado impacted areas, or if they are in our Bowling Green reinvestment area, and if they have an idea for a neighborhood project, they should be thinking about quickly. Because, this fiscal year will end June 30th, and then we will have a new grant cycle that will begin. And we do intend to lift some of those restrictions that we had for it to be just for tornado impacted areas. So if you're in those, now's the time. And hopefully I'll be back before you guys, before the end of the fiscal year, with some additional requests.
Hey,
Foley,
Karen.
how do they get a hold of you? Do they need to contact you to try to get those requests?
They can, the grant application is still available online. So they can go to bgky.org and they can click on neighborhoods, and they'll see a link over on the right-hand side of the page for flexible neighborhood grants. And all of the guidelines are on there. They can actually submit the request electronically. My contact information is on there. It looks like this, just the guidelines. It's very similar, but it's actually something that they can complete and submit, and it comes to me in an email. So it's pretty simple. We've tried to simplify it to make it more flexible for groups and for the users to use. And of course, they can always reach out to me at neighborhoods@bgky.org if they want to email, or they can call us at 270-393-3444.
We've kept the max at 7,500.
Yes.
In order for more people to be able to get it, right? So,
Absolutely.
So if you have a project that's more than 7,500, you can still max it out and kind of match your own funds with it
That's
to
right.
make it work, so.
Yeah.
2 follow-up questions for neighborhoods. If there isn't an HOA, can a neighbor in a neighborhood still apply? Or
Yes.
if there is an HOA, or maybe it's defunct, or like does it have to come through an HOA if there
It
is
does not
one?
have to come
Okay.
through a homeowners association. We do want it to come through neighbors, though. So in the case of the Shake Rag Fest, those are neighbors, property owners, and then other people who are hosting that event. So they are coming together around that event, and that is how they have applied for it. But we work with everything from a very formal HOA structure, and they collect dues, and they have regular meetings, from that all the way to a very informal group of neighbors who they look around the neighborhood and they say, hey, we should do a tree project, we should do a landscape project. And everywhere in between. We even serve as the fiscal agent. I make payments directly to their vendors in some cases. So in every kind of organization in between. So you don't have to have a group yet. You just have to want to have a project that you want to do and have funded.
Thank you,
And
Karen.
that's the starting place. Thank you.
Other questions? Roll call, please.
Perigin.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Beasley Brown.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Alcott.
Yes. All right, municipal order number 2023-60.
Municipal order authorizing the approval and submission of fiscal year 2024 annual plan for the Housing Choice Voucher Program.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Beasley Brown, second by Carlos Bailey. Mr. Mizel.
So our award-winning Housing Choice Voucher Program has to have an annual plan submitted to HUD, and we are in that process. We've had our public hearing on March 13th to receive public comments. Before you tonight is the annual plan that we are going to submit. Ms. Elvira is here tonight, Romick, to answer any questions you might have, as well as Nick Cook. I think, is Nick still over there? Okay, all right. And this is our annual requirement to submit our plan.
Thank you, Mr. Mizel. Commissioners, you have any questions on this plan? Elvira, thank you for being here. All right, your plan is in order. Roll call, please.
Perigin.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Beasley Brown.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Alcott.
Yes. Ordinance number BG 2023-5 is our first reading, non-binding.
Ordinance rezoning real estate. Ordinance rezoning a portion of a tract of land containing 8.12 acres from AG Agriculture to GB General Business located at 0 Russellville Road, presently owned by Platinum Development LLC.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Perigin, second by Commissioner Hill. Mr. Mizel.
8.92 acres on Russellville Road. Of the members present, there were seven in favor, recommending this rezoning from agriculture to general business with the general development plan, and recommending to you all to approve that. Is Ben still here? Ben is here for any questions you might have. Mr. Peterson.
Right. Any
Map
questions
is in
at
your
this time?
packets.
No questions. Roll call, please.
Perigin.
Yes.
Bailey. Beasley Brown.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Alcott.
Yes. Municipal order number 2023-61.
Municipal order approving and authorizing out-of-town travel expenses for City Manager Jeff Meisel to attend the Kentucky City County Management Association Winter Conference in Lexington, Kentucky.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Perigin, second by Commissioner Hill. Commissioner Hill, sorry. Mr. Mizel.
Just want to thank you all for letting me attend this annual conference with fellow city managers around Kentucky. Katie was there as well. We had a record attendance, I believe. This organization keeps growing, and we keep getting better conferences and better programs. Our own Brent Childers spoke during a session on our tornado recovery activity, along with a gentleman from Eastern Kentucky. So it was a really good conference, and appreciate you all letting me get away and going.
Great. No further questions, comments? Roll call.
Perigin.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Beasley Brown.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Alcott.
Yes. Municipal order number 2023-62.
Municipal order approving the reappointments of Russell Brown, Gregory Seaton, and John Williams to the Urban Growth Design Review Board.
So moved. Second.
By Commissioner Perigin, second by Commissioner Hill. These are members that I did not talk to or appoint, but they were previously on the board, and they have asked to remain, and I'm proud of their service, and thank you very much for their continued service, and I recommend them for their continuation. Okay, no further questions, roll call.
Perigin.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Beasley Brown.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Alcott.
Yes, municipal order number 2023-63.
Municipal order approving the reappointment of Jennifer Hines Steen to the Hobson House Commission.
So moved.
Second.
By Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Beasley Brown. Again, Ms. Hines has continued to serve honorably, and she's volunteering to continue to serve honorably, and I recommend her continuation on this board.
She's a good friend of mine, and she's actually a descendant of Duncan Hines here in Bowling Green. So
Duncan Hines days are coming up.
that's right. That's right. So she's probably, I would say, since Cora Jane passed away, she's probably the closest relative left.
I see our corporate sponsorship for Duncan Hines Days has exceeded $100,000, so exciting inaugural event for Bowling Green. And the dates are in my head, but it's June 5 through 11. And there's still time, Bowling Green, to get involved with Duncan Hines Days, because it's not a single event. It's multiple events throughout our community the whole week. So it is a plug for Duncan Hines Days.
PSA was brought to you.
By the mayor. All right. Where were we? All right. Oh, yes, Ms. Hines, thank you. No further questions. Roll call, please.
Perigin.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Beasley Brown.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Alcott.
Yes. Ordinance number BG 2023-4 is our second reading binding.
Ordinance relating to classification pay schedules. Ordinance amending the classification pay schedules F for fire and P for police of the City of Bowling Green for fiscal year 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Perigin, second by Commissioner Beasley Brown. I am going to make a statement. I know this was unanimous, and I thank the commissioners for supporting this. I appreciate the hard work that has gone into this from our city staff to look at our salaries and our pay schedules, and I believe this is going to make a significant difference. I've run into several police officers, peaceful peace officers lately, and they're very excited about this. So this is going to help out our recruitment. Those 21 positions that we mentioned last time, we have 7 right now that are vacant in our 911 dispatch center, and the rest are our police officers. So if you're out there, you're listening, the city of Bowling Green is listening, and we're making big differences in our pay schedules. So beginning police officer, I believe, will be over 60,000 once they're certified. Is that correct? And 54,000 for our firefighters. So, and that amortizes up through the chain. Commissioners, thank you. City staff, thank you. Anyone want to make a comment? Okay, roll call, please.
Perigin.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Beasley Brown.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Alcott.
Yes. So we're going to look for public comments at this time, Ms. Jackson, and our next meeting will be scheduled for April 18th, 2023. So a little bit delay.
One comment. Public information is aware that there's an issue with the audio. It is playing, but there is no sound. So she will get that uploaded to our website as soon as this meeting is over. So we do apologize for the inconvenience.
Public will just have to hear it later, but they can see us now. Hello. Jennifer, welcome to the podium. I'll restate, you have between 3 and 5 minutes.
Okay, I wrote you a letter, and I wanted to read it. I didn't want it to read it out loud. I just wanted you to get it. And she said I should read it out loud. So, I don't know. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, dear Mayor, I'm writing this to try to get you to understand the homeless problem. Joseph fought Al in the Catholic Bible. Al was a crazy man. He believed in the power of money. Joshua had to fight him after Jericho. Joshua could have said no, but Joshua fought Al. I'm writing this not to say that you are Al. I'm saying that you and Joshua listen just to God, even though it costs Joshua. I'm writing this because of 2 reasons. One, you're going to make room in the inn at Salvation Army. They will be overwhelmed. They will have to take care of the intake for the homeless. At the same time, they will have to take care of the people living in the shelter. Another reason, Goodwill and Salvation Army and Life Skills is overwhelmed with the homeless. What happens when the more people are going to Bowling Green? When Jesus turned water into wine, that is the same principle as room in the inn, giving somebody a place to stay. I'm sorry that I had to go when you were talking to me last meeting. I had a meeting so that I have a place to stay. So that's why I interrupt. But I wrote that in my book. I turned water into wine, and then I explained to them the story of when Jesus turned water into wine. So, but we do need help, because Salvation Army needs help, and Goodwill needs help, and Room in the Inn no more. So the homeless are going to get worse, not better. So we need something to help. See, there is a lady goes to church at Crossroads, and she said she can make a trailer park or something like that for affordable housing. And she talked to you about that. I think you knew her.
I'm meeting her, yes.
Yeah, so that's a good idea, because we need more affordable housing. So, but that's it. And I'm sorry that I stayed here and read this, because I could have just gave it to you, but she told me to stay here and read it. So I'm just like, so that's it. And I want everybody to have a copy of the story of Joshua.
Thank you, Jennifer. Mrs. Jackson, do we have any more comments at this time? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are adjourned for the evening. Good night.